Thank you for joining me. This time I will work on this oil painting. You can see the materials that I use in the video description. I would love to see how you do and give you my feedback. So if you can, come join me on Patreon and access my full learning center. This video is sponsored by Enjoying Art Brushes. These creative brushes give you a whole different experience in watercolor painting. Learn more and order yours today at enjoyingart.com/brushes. I did a quick sketches. I blur all the marks and use it as just the base tone. This is the top, and this is the bottom of the chin. And that's the neck. Now I'm looking at the bottom of the head. This is about right here. It's about a little bit less than half from the top to the bottom. That's the back. And now looking at the proportion. And that's the side bun. It's just right half from the left to the right. Right? It's very easy to see. And then looking at the remaining space on the right side over here, the back of the ear is also half. Okay, this is pretty good. And now I'm going to put the forehead from this line to the bottom of the chin, and it's about halfway, and maybe a little bit more halfway. Just put a little mark over here. That is the location for the eye. That's looking for the whole shape, the shadow shape. The nose can be down a little bit. Here we go. And now looking at the space between the nose and the chin, and it just put a little mark over here, so don't worry about it. This is not actually this is the preparation for the painting. And just put something over here. I'm going to play around it. If you don't like the composition, you're going to start all over again. Okay, this is good. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to shade this and focus more on the shape. Just the shape. The shape has values. And just see all the longer line, all the movement. Take a look at if this is make you feel good before you walking into the details. Much better. Now put the chin out a little bit. You put a little bit more shading, the shadow, and try to figure out what you really want. You are facing a blank canvas to make a beautiful piece of art. In the background, on the left lower area, I want to make it a little bit closer to the color of the coat. So push the attention more to the upper area outside the face, and also on the right hand side over here. I think this is pretty good now. And I'm ready to start applying the face color. And the face colors are only kind of orange color, right? We want to simplify the color tone, and in terms of thinking about the skin tone, sounds a little bit mysterious and confusing sometimes. So, but in fact, this is only yellow and red, and I just applied this skin tone for the a mid-tone skin tone start with. Don't make it too thick at the beginning. Just spare some colors to the face area, and put it on the nose over here too, and just put it on the edge, because next to it there will be a very light color. Okay, just put the mid-tone over here and touch it to the area of the hair. Get it a little bit darker over there. I know can be a little bit lighter, but you don't have to to have to make this final in one step. Go with the feeling. Okay, and put a little bit darker on the forehead over there. Everything we're doing now is prepare for the next step. Okay, now I'm putting a little bit darker color in the shadow side and the chin over here, and getting to the forehead, to the catch the shadow over there, and gradually I'm making, but keep that in mind. What we're doing here is only create a balance right now. So putting the lighter tone, and don't look at the details, and just try to create the feel of like a sphere shape for the whole face. The top over here is just a little bit lighter, and then the bottom and the lower area a little bit more shadow, right? So it's just good. Ignore seeing all the details. Avoid the seeing of those. Just think about simple form, the simplified version. Okay, this is good. Now we're gonna test the color on the head. This is kind of green color, but it's more like green-blue color, or say blue-green color, okay? It's not really that bright either. So I'm going to put something a little bit more muted color, a little bit neutral. Just put that in. I know this is something we can modify and change, adjust, and make it better later. But I don't want you to overthinking about that. Just try to create the balance. Is the golden word. It's about the balance, and try to create something that we're gonna continue working on. Now I'm adding the lighter shape, so which should have a lot more blue, and almost like it just mix the blue, the present blue, with the white pink. And just put it on the top. Now we create the feeling of the form of the head. Let's put the dark color on the coat. And again, we are just trying to create the dark and light balance and the warm and cool colors. Put it everywhere. Just wherever it's supposed to be, to try the best judgment. And also make that a little bit darker, move it up a little bit higher, so adjust the angle. But again, you don't have to do everything that you see, okay, in the reference. You just give your own personal, emotional input when you are doing this step, because this is not much about that you have to do something or you don't have to do something. Just do whatever you like right now. I leave a little white shape over there. I'm going to give a little bit light shape over there in nice connections. Have a little bit more like a connection feeling, pointing up to the face. And okay, that's the coat. It's pretty good and very dark. So you guess it. The next step would be the background. And when I have the background also be included, and then I'm going to come back to adjusting colors. And the top of the coat over here, the color is need to be a little bit lighter. Okay, not really that light, so but a little bit warmer. And just put a little color in over there. Okay, this is pretty good. There's a little undershirt over there, and we can do that a little bit later. Okay, this is only a very small area. Okay, that's on the shadow side of the shoulder, on the left hand side, right under the chin, and that also have even a little bit darker color. Okay, now I just make the outside over here just a little bit lighter, okay, so we can see the shape of the shadow on the other side. This is good. I use a small number of brushes. I usually use like 2 to 4 brushes for a small painting like this, even a little bit more complicated painting. Okay, that's good. I'm going to tone down that, make it a little bit cooler, a little bit lighter area over there, so create the feeling of the cast shadow on the other side. Okay. All right. A little bit light shape. Now I'm going to just put it down over here. Maybe too bright, but don't worry. Just put it over there, and we're going to see the color better after we have all the color together. I may change the color. Definitely going to change the color. Okay. Now test the little gray color over here. Just put it on the canvas. You're going to see how you're going to take it from here. Just this color very thin and very liquid because I have some gamsol mixed together. Okay. Let's see. And the bottom over here. And starting just the mid-tone. And oil can use wet into wet for a very long time. And so you can just brush over on the edge so you can make it much softer. And the right hand side, this definitely need to be darker than this. But just apply the color on the place right now. And the color, this is definitely not going to be the final color because it's very wet. Okay, now these colors get a little bit less gamsol, so it's just a little bit more solid. But again, I keep it also thin. I may not really want it to be very, very light, like in the reference, because I want to keep the lightest color, the brightest color, to be in the main area, which is in the face area. Just painting around. Okay, every step we are doing is work toward the end of the painting, which is the final result that we have in mind. Okay, on the left-hand side now, look a little bit better. Is definitely toward what we really want. Now, on the back over here, I'm going to make it a little bit darker and have a little bit warm and cool color. Okay. And squint your eye. You probably can see a little bit better. Sometimes when you're squinting your eye, you connect your emotional part of your feeling a little bit more direct to the canvas. Okay, now maybe this is a little bit too blue, but compared to the reference, yeah, it's a little bit too blue, but it may be right for you. Okay, so keep your creative license. Do what you like. This is good. Now, in the transition at the top over there, I'm going to have some warmer color and continue to the front. Okay. Now I'm going to have the little bit more brownish color in the back over here too. Now I'm going to get a little bit warmer color. Wow. I kind of like the connection. You can see the front and the background is a little bit warmer. So this could be serving as a connection from the front. Okay. And also whatever the color that you try to put on the wet area of the canvas, you get to thinking about is going to be what you have at the final color. It will be the mixture between the color including the color that you have in the brush, and it's already there. So with the color there, it was the blue color. So if you put the orange color in, it's not going to be an orange color. It's going to be mixture between the blue and the orange color. What depends on the strength of the orange and the blue that already there. It will become a gray color, or maybe a little bit brown color. It depends, right? So you're gonna watch out how much color that you already have and on the canvas already, and how much orange color that you're going to bring in, right? We're going to talk more about this. It's very different. Like when you're painting acrylics dry in minutes. So whatever color you put in after, it's just going to be the color that you have that they bring in onto the canvas. Because the color on the canvas won't interact with the color that you bring in as the new color. It's going to be just the new color on top of whatever there. So a little bit different kind of thinking if you have been painting acrylic a lot. And you're going to have a totally different kind of feeling, different kind of reaction in the process. Okay, and the top over here, I'm going to bring it even just a little bit lighter. A little bit cooler too. Bring it down a little bit. Okay. Yeah, keep paying attention to large area at this step. And just thinking about, that's the large area. In this case, is the background. The left side, the right side of the background. And the face, the head, and the black coat. Right? And also think about the brush stroke. You don't have to make everything look smooth. It's just a painting. Now I'm going to come back to this small shape. I'm going to bring a little big warm gray color and putting it down over here. Here you go. Now it has this very interesting additional shape. Okay, maybe turn it down a little bit dimmer, like that. Now at this point, the whole painting is getting a very interesting interaction. Just think about the color in the coat, the color in the background, also the movement of each of the shapes. I'm going to shrink this shape just a little bit smaller. Seems like a little bit too powerful. Now I'm going to refine the edge of the head. And also the edge. To talk about the edge is also very important. You can make the edges very clear if you want to get more attention from for the area. If you don't want that much attention over there, you might want to make the contrast between two different colors a little bit closer together. Also, the color tone a little bit close together with the temperature a little bit closer. So it's not going to getting much attention. Okay. Just add a little bit separation. You may not really want that much, but right now, it just put things there as you emotionally involved in every step of the development. Just put it there. If you feel like you want a color there, just put it down over there. Don't worry about it. Maybe you're going to, when you see something else that you do, that you like, and you're going to end up have to adjust to other places to adapt to the new changes that you're going to do. So this is a lot of ongoing modifications in a painting like this. Oil painting can take as long as is for months or for years. You can keep developing. Okay, now putting a little bit lighter shape, we are focusing on the little bit more smaller area developing now, working into the face area. Right? But this is the step need to be after that you are happy with the overall color composition, the overall development of all the big areas, which is we mentioned about. Okay, this is need to be a little bit lighter connected, and that's a little bit lower eyelid area. Okay, let's working more on the transition. I think that is pretty good. Next is I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit about the inner shirt over here, the shadow side. Just put a little triangle over there. And keep thinking about triangles. So triangles is almost applied to everywhere. This is the shape. Now we just use the wet brush. Just brush it through. Maybe a little bit too cool. And too much blue. But we can adjust the colors. And now or later. Okay. Now I'm going to have a little bit warmer. That's pretty good. Now refine the edge a little bit. Here you go. Now make it that just a little bit darker to create a feeling of the tone. And the hair over here start a little bit warmer color. And the top over there, and need to be pushing that a little bit higher. And just use a clean brush, just put it in. And now I'm going to apply the darker shadow. And now I use just a little the smaller brush. Just start, continue developing, pushing a little bit more, smaller and smaller and smaller into the shape. Okay, and just use the corner of the brush. You can make the feeling of the texture of the head. Now get a little bit smaller and smaller shape. Because we only use mainly the three primary colors, with the yellow, the red, and the blue, which is pleasant blue. You can mix all those colors that you see here. I don't use much other colors unless it is for a very special need. You can bring in another extra colors into it. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit darker color into the shape of the eye area, the eyebrows, and the eye. I know this is an eyeglass frame in the middle of that, but you're going to create that after on top of the shape that you have. Let's just develop the triangle. Again, seeing the eye, that's the triangle. And when you use a flat brush like this, think about what angle you're going to make the brush stroke. So you can think before you start, do it. Okay, just put a little bit triangle over there. That's good. Okay, this is pretty good. And we're going to start develop a little bit from a little bit lighter. Use this as the brown color. Develop that, and then gradually we're going to refine and make it darker and darker. Just use half of the brush. Yeah. Also thinking about the measurement. Keep thinking about that. The the measurement is ongoing development. And when you are working on the larger shape, the larger relation, your measurement would be on the larger relationship, right? But when you get a little bit smaller, you're going to adding the smaller shape as you develop more and more into the details. And you're going to continue measuring. Just like where this line is going to be and compared to the nose is already measured, right? You already know that the bottom of the nose is over there. And then you're going to continue to take that as is the reference for the new shape that, like right now, I'm going to develop that, the corner of the mouth, compare that with the bottom of the nose. Like now let's refine the edge a little bit. Now just use the edge of the brush, just create a feeling of the mustache and the beard. Okay. There's a little bit darker color over there, like that. And you could see how I actually do the same painting, but with different medium, like for watercolor. And the look can be the same, but the technique would be different. And get down to all the analytic process and the whole painting progress can be also the same. It's always developing like a house, from the foundation to the ground to the wall, and gradually get into the details and beautified at the end. So this is good. And if the color is too light, you can either like undo it, just wipe it off if you want, or it just pick another color mixture onto it. Yeah, right now, the brush I'm using at this time is a synthetic brush. It's not natural hair. The synthetic brush make you feel is very much like a piece of plastic. Now this is the round brush. This is the not the natural hair brush, and you have a different feel. So I like to use most with the natural hair brush. It make you feel a little bit better. Except sometimes when you need to have a little bit sharper edge, a little bit smaller details, I would use the synthetic brush to help. Okay. Now I have a little bit darker color on the lower lip of the mouth. And you feel very different when you use the I know some artists, they prefer to use only synthetic brush for whatever reason, and you're gonna see that comparing your painting with those artists' painting, you can see as distinguished, look different, and also the look connect with the feel, how you feel when you look at the painting, also different as well. Okay, let's continue to develop this shape and think about the angle. This is good. And the top over there is going to have a little bit warmer, a little bit brighter color. So gradually, you develop more and more, deeper and deeper on the detail. The eye is just a triangle. So that's just, you don't see the detail in the eye from this angle. Right. Okay, I'm going to make that even a little bit higher. So that is good. And at this point, it's already in a much, much better shape already, even though there's just a lot more we can do from here. It depends how much time we have. Now come back to the nose. Take a look at the shadow side of the nose. And refine that smaller area. We would make it a little bit warmer. Just add a little bit more red into it. And that's more like the shadows of the skin tone. If you have a little bit too cool, it would feel a little bit dirty. I'm going to also have a little bit warmer on the edge of the nose. Now I'm going to further define the front of the nose and put a little bit sharper edge, but it doesn't need to be that dark. It can be a little bit lighter, but a little bit warmer. Just use a little bit lighter color, refine it, and going up a little bit, preparing to catch the shadow from the eyeglasses. That's good. Now you can see we have different responsibilities throughout the different stage of the development of a painting. And at the beginning, we only need to focus on how those large color interact. Now you're gonna working onto the smaller area, but under the general relationship of the larger area. Okay, so the smaller shape, smaller area is going to refine, creating a little bit more details, but at the same time, need to be enrich the larger relationship instead of against the relationship you already developed at the early stage. Now I'm going to get a little bit more color transition and also bring that transition onto the forehead over there too. A little bit warmer over there. So when you're seeing the color there's a little bit too much, you can always mix a little bit lighter color into it to create that transition. The forehead is rounded. Now I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush to develop the toning transitions on the neck as well as on the face. It's just use a little bit darker orange color add a little blue in it. It will become a little bit more brownish color. So when you work into the larger transition, not the smaller, that you want to use a little bit bigger brush, a little bit larger enough. And that the color, the transition, look a little bit, it just would be much easier, just same as you using watercolor painting. When you're working on a larger transition, it would be much easier to use the larger brush instead of try to fill it in with the smaller brush and time consuming. Second thing is less easy to control. Okay, now I'm going to have the little bit lighter color and then merge into it. So this area, comparing the neck over there to the face, right, that is not lighter than the light area on the face. Now also refine just a little bit dimmer color for the jaw area. It's a little bit toning down, so it has a little bit more shadow, a little bit darker. Can you see a little lighter skin tone right at this area? A little bit triangle over there. Here you go. Just make a little bit warmer color, a little bit lighter over there. Make it feel like, oh, this is a little bit thinner mustache. There, so you can see a little bit more feeling of the upper lip of the mouth. That's now going to refine the shadow shape from the nose. And this is good. Now it's getting more and more toward the final of the painting. Okay, this is a little bit shadow, and this is make the mustache as a form, have a three-dimensional. So don't just looking at each of hair. The hair, it would be enhancement, but you need to create a form first, right? And making the neck over here even a little bit forward, a little bit darker too. And that's just good. Now we're ready to work into the ear. Let's develop the main shape right under. That's the cast shadow. Let's make the darker color first. And now looking at the how much the bottom of the ear is going to reach to. So comparing that with the nose. And here gonna get a little bit, make it a little bit more clear, a little bit heavier. And we're gonna add a little bit warmer colors to the edge a little bit later, but develop that larger shape first and before we modify it. Okay, this is pretty good. Now I add a little red color in here. Okay, make it more like this cast the shadows on the skin. This is good. Now the shape of the ear already defined by having this additional shape to it. And now the next thing, we're going to work into the other two big shapes inside the ear. Let's start from a little bit lighter tone. This right starting over here, this is good. And just looking for the shapes. Don't look at the changes inside. And this shape is right above the middle area of the ear. So when you're looking at the additional shape, you're going to base on the area that you already defined for the whole ear. So you can measure from there. Okay, that's have the little shape over here, and then it's going to connect to the left hand side, the little shape over there. So it's looking for the shadow. Like it has a lighter value and a darker value. And putting that over there, and we can turn the flat area to become a dimension, have some changes, right? So this is good. I can move that, and I know the sideburn can move a lot more to the left hand side. But this is okay right now, and we can actually keep the sideburn the way it is. Now coming down over here, now define the changes of on the outside of the ear. That's just good. Now we're going to continue adding a little bit more shape on close to the edge of the ear. Now this is coming a little bit warmer color. This is good. Fine tune that and make it a little bit smoother. But now we establish a pretty good foundation. Now we're adding a little bit darker color. And later we're going to add a little bit lighter color. And so we can develop a more clear structure and connections in the ear. Now add a little bit darker color over there too. Now define that there's a line connecting the two different shapes. Let me define a little bit of the little small earring. Just first paint a little bit cast shadow from the earring and the earlobe. And then I'm just going to give a little touch on the edge over here. Have a little bit warmer color. And next, I'm going to just refine this. And get a little bit blue color, a little bit darker over there. And here again, I'm going to use the same dark color, refined, further define the shape of the ear, as is the cast shadow under the head. Now I'm going to have the lighter colors. Now start from the top of the ear, that a little bit lighter, And when you get the dang over here, I'm going to stop because turn into a little bit darker color, right? Now going in the inside of the ear over here, this small shape. And just, we call it light and shadow approach. When you see the light and the shadow, you can start the mid-tone and develop into the darker and then get a little bit lighter and the form, it would appear. And now I'm going to looking into even a lighter area next. That's a little bit more lighter and the edge. And then I'm going to add some even lighter color. And I'm going to make it get a little bit thicker and thicker as we develop the painting. Okay, this is good. And then over here, that area, that area is not higher, but instead, because the form, the plane is facing to the light source, but it's the inside the ear. With that light shape, you can create a little bit more connections to the form. And that's a little bit lighter. And also at the front of the ear. That's the plane of the small area facing to the light source. And a little bit thicker color inside over there. And then pretty good. Now next we're going to look into refine a little bit of the earring, a little bit highlight, and the ear is going to be finished. At least it's finished as we want it to be with the time that we have. Just think about. Just put a little bit, define a little bit darker over there. Okay, not really dark, but it's a little bit dimmer than that. And so also some a little areas with a little bit softer edge. And you can continue moving into like a little bit sharper area, a little bit softer area that you can define that with oil painting very easily. And then give a little bit highlight for the little earrings, so make it feel more like a three-dimensional there. If there's too much texture of the highlight, you can always make it a little bit. But notice the brush that I'm using. It is still the natural hairbrush. And natural hairbrush can release the paint and they're more gradually instead of just by pushing the color like a plastic knife. And the brush give a little bit more gentle feeling. Okay, now add a little bit more warmer colors into the cast shadow and make it feel more as part of the skin. Okay, that's good. Refine the shape. Now the ear is almost there. It's pretty good. Now use the same dark color and then work into a little bit more to the hair on the back. Refine the back of the neck. Next, I'm gonna working on the eyeglasses. First, work on the vertical lines. There's two vertical lines at the front as the eyeglass frame. Let's work in one line over there. And we're gonna work on the next line, looking for where it's come down to. Okay, prepare your mind before you do the painting. All the way down over there, think about the angle of the vertical line. That's good. It's just kind of like a little testing. Now I'm going to have a little bit thicker paint. Okay, there you go. That's very good. And very good with this two vertical line. And now they catch the shadow over there, touching the middle of the nose. Now I'm going to have the little bit more clear shape. Also a little bit turning a little bit darker, which we're going to define a little bit more clear. That's just good. One thing at a time. And then this is horizontal line. From here all the way, almost like a horizontal, all the way to the other side. Look through the whole line before you draw it on. That's just good. And we're going to paint the white on top of that later, and we can define that. Now the eyeglasses are very much already there. You can see that that's just the shape. And now working into refine the forehead, feeling the forehead need to be a lot higher after we have the eyeglasses in place. And we're also going to work on the forehead, the light shape in a bit. Okay, looking at the shape of the front, in front of the eye. And a little bit shadow, a little bit turning. You're going to get smaller and smaller into it. So don't rush to work into a particular area, because everything is work together. If you make the eye is right, but however the other shape is off, and you're reflected to the eye is not right as well, because the connection is missing. Now I already put the little bit lighter shape on the lower eyelid, but it's a little bit too light, so I'm going to refine that. Have that shadow, the whole shadow shape over there first before we go in to give it even a little bit more into it, like a little bit more turn if you look close into the reference. But make sure the larger shape in the correct value and temperature. Now I'm going to add the catch the shadow of the arm of the eyeglass. And just like a warm brown color. It's almost like an orange. And this is good. Now, like a one stroke, you can create that. Now, take a look at the catch the shadow on the nose. And this is tiny round brush really help. Just think about it. Refine the edge of the brush. It's already good enough. You don't have to make it very, very, very clear. But if you have a brush is small enough, you can always get a little bit more from there. It looks good already. And also add a little bit warm color on the edge for the shadow of the sideburn here on the skin. It's always feel a little bit warmer. Now I'm gonna working on the arm. Try to do it one stroke. That's just good. A little light shape all the way coming over. Perfect. That's just good. Now there's just a little bit smaller shape at the front over there. Okay, that's just good. Think a little bit more before you do it, so you don't have to do it again and again and again. Like think about the eyeglass, the glass at the front. It just need a little bit more blue color. Just have it down from there all the way. That's perfect. Now I'm gonna finish the painting by adding the light shape on the inner shirt. just put a little bit lighter color there. Also think about how light it is and how warm it is and what's the angle of that. It's simple. It's just the same way they analyze any shape. Okay, that's good. And then next we're going to look into the shadow side of the shirt. So make it feel like a wrapping around on the neck. Just a little bit blue. Just put a little bit over there, tiny. Okay. And also in front of the neck. If you also like watercolor painting, you can see how I paint this in another YouTube channel. The link is in the video description. I know that life can sometimes be hectic and messy, but I hope that with art, you can relax and just enjoy the moment. I will see you in my next video.